Hi, welcome to a new video of mine. A video about the energy at play, but a little bit different from what I usually do. And as you see up here, it says Patreon first, because on Patreon I record every 5-6 days a video on the energy at play for the coming 5-6 days. But I decided to make this one also public um, one day after being published on Patreon, because I feel it's important to share this message with the globe and not just with people who pay for my services. We all know that we live in, let's say, interesting times. I'm saying interesting and not bad times because when there is change, there is often discomfort. There is collapse of the old to create space for the new to arise. And whether we look at it from a positive perspective or from a negative perspective, whether you live in the East or you live in the West, in the North or in the South, change is happening. And you may feel comfortable where you are, or you may feel very uncomfortable where you are. You may be safe in your country today. You may be very unsafe as you're in a war zone, whether it be the war happening now in Eastern Europe or people fighting for their freedom and less restrictions, or for the truth to come out. There's a lot going on. And interesting fact is that if you look at what energies are at play, and I use amongst others the gene keys pulse to get some confirmation, or sometimes to fill some gaps if I do not get all the information through intuition or channeling. And what is at play now is the truth. The truth can come to surface. Can come to surface when we do investigate, when you do dig. There's a lot of false news going around, fake news. We know this. The whole concept of fake news is also being used to just spread more doubt. I mean, just screaming that there is fake news so that people don't trust anything that they see anymore. There's also the actively spreading of fake news to create confusion. And this is just like the lies that are being spread within families, within organizations, within communities. Maybe the lies you have been spreading yourself to cover your own ass, or your partner has been, or your brother, or your colleague. There's always an agenda, there's always a reason. And often people have a good reason to do what they're doing. I'm not saying it's good for everyone, but for them, it's the best thing to do for their survival, or for the survival of their ego, or the survival of their country. And when the actions are not love-based, then they are fear-based. And so you see some people that love expanding their power, expanding their reach. Why would you do that? Only if you are in fear that you do not have enough, or you're not going to be safe enough. And what we see now, that there is a lot of energy of people being fed up. They have had enough and they want change. They want to be able to breathe again. So people are done with financial institutions. People are done with politicians. People are done with certain countries' behaviors. People are done with their bosses' behaviors or the company structure, company policies, company culture. Um, People are done with sexual harassment. People are done with what social media is spreading that's dividing or making people feel insecure, uncomfortable about how their body looks or about their gender or the gender orientation or about their sexual orientation and or about their culture, their language, their origins. People are done with the crap. And truth is coming to the surface. Lies are being exposed. And the truth always ends up coming to the surface. Maybe not in your lifetime. Maybe you may be able to take something to the grave. But then, if you really care about how your ego feels, knowing that you'll take it to the grave, but then after you die, shit will come to surface and people will remember you as being the thief, the cheat, the whatever. Yeah, that's not comfortable, right? So just remember, truth is always coming to the surface, and we see that. Social media, internet is helping with this. It's also being used and abused for other things, but it's like everything. Nuclear power was not created as a weapon, it was energy, an energy source. And any energy source can be used for harm. Laser is being used to in manufacturing to cut things or to burn a DVD, a CD, to um, make the chips that we use in our mobile phones and stuff. But laser can also be used as a weapon to kill people, to shoot down an airplane or a satellite. Cars were invented to move from A to B, but then the same technology was used and abused to create tanks, weapons. Airplanes were designed to transport people, but then they also have been abused to drop bombs on people. Not everything that we see is what it is. It just depends from which angle you look at it. And I'll try to remember to put up a picture of how we can perceive things from different angles, or just zoom in on one part only and then we don't see the bigger picture. So, what I always recommend my clients is to zoom out. Try to see the bigger picture as big as you can, because then you know what's really happening. Tunnel vision, just looking through the tunnel, means you're missing out on all the context and you have a very high chance of taking the wrong decisions or to miss out on a lot of good things simply because you didn't look around. That's also inquiry and seeing the truth. To actually open your eyes, start to look around you, zoom out, see the big picture. So things are changing on this planet. And some people love to see the drama and everything. Like, oh, the world's going to shit, going to hell. Well, every generation has been complaining about the newer generation being less this and less that, less good, worse. And it's true. From a certain perspective, yes. But from another perspective, no. It is true that if we look at how well people write these days, many people would say, ha, this young generation, they don't know how to write something. They use the wrong language, the wrong words, the wrong grammar, the wrong spelling. True, compared to what the previous generation used. But then the generation before them said the exact same thing about them. So our grandparents looked at our parents and were like, "Oh, come on, quality is going down." And our parents look at us like, hey, come on, quality is going down. But less from one thing often creates space for something new to appear in that empty space. Maybe we will not need grammar anymore in 50 or 100 years from now because we will be communicating telepathically. So we won't need words anymore. We will transmit feelings and images, sensations. We even see that in technology, in the movie industry, Dolby Atmos, atmosphere. It's about feeling, vibration, smell, even splashing water. So, what I encourage you to do is to have an open mind, to try to see the bigger picture, to not believe everything that's put in front of you, but take a moment to scan it. Take a moment to Google. And yes, Google is also being manipulated and being censored. But if you Google deeper, you'll find you'll find interesting things. Maybe skip the first few results of Google. Go to page 2, have a look, and then compare what you come across. Sometimes 10 minutes of digging can bring you a lot of clarity or prevent a lot of problems in your life. Another thing that has been very active, especially in the last week, but this may still be very active for a lot of people this week and the coming weeks, is conflict. And conflict can have different origins. And in this case, it's also the clearing of the old. And when we talk about conflict in your personal life, we are changing. So it's very possible that you're feeling friction with some people you have been in contact with for a long time, who were maybe close friends, family, your partners, colleagues. And this feeling of conflict can result in a split, but can also result in depth. So I experienced a lot of conflict, and I have my own coach, is yeah, plural coaches. And by the way, every really successful person has at least one coach and or mentor. And I have a few. And through the talks I had, I got different perspectives. Then I started to get more clarity. So the conflicts I had were related to things within me that were not the true me, or that were exposing aspects of me that I didn't know, that I hadn't seen before. And seeing these aspects within me started to give me a lot of clarity and started to explain so many things that had been happening for several years now. And like, oh, no, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense too. Oh. And so also there, it's important to zoom out. And that's why I have these people I talk with. Because when we are standing in the middle of the forest, we may not see what's behind all those trees. And sometimes it's difficult to zoom out. Maybe you don't know how high we need to zoom out. But then having somebody in your life who can help you get new perspective is crucial. And this is, for example, a service that I offer through mentoring. I do offer coaching, but also mentoring, which are two different things. And if you want to know more about that, contact me. And I can tell you what I do. But it's also important for you to tell me what you feel you need. And you may not know it very clearly yet. You may not be able to formulate very clearly what you need. You may have a feeling like, I need something. That's a start. Admitting that you need help is a sign of strength, a sign of smartness. So do ask for help. Do contact me if you have this feeling that, yeah, you need something. You need somebody to help you get more clarity on certain subjects. Because that's what mentoring is. It's having somebody available to support, where coaching is having a clear goal or an almost clear goal, and you want to work on it. Like, I have this blockage or I have this trauma. Just two examples, very common, by the way. So I hope this video has helped you put things in motion, maybe helped you to see certain things more clearly, or resulted in many questions. Either way, you needed this, otherwise you wouldn't have watched. And if you've been watching till now, to this part of the video, then most probably you want to contact me. Because for you to sit and listen to me for 18 and a half, almost 19 minutes means that somehow you resonate with my way of thinking, with my way of looking at things. So maybe I can help you to boost the quality of your life, to overcome the obstacles you have in front of you now. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I wish you a beautiful week. Like, subscribe, and share.